my name is Merritt. Today I'm going to be doing a shootout of the Omega Granophyre Amp versus the Neural DSP plugin, the same name. I'm going to be doing a cover of Meshuggah Obzen, Nasty, Filthy, Thick Chugs. Let's do it.
Now I'll show you how I would take the raw tone, put a bunch of plugins on it, and then it will eventually become a mix. So it's worth noting, it starts with a Fortin 33 pedal. What that's going to do is it's going to boost the signal, make it louder. It's going to thin it up, cut out a lot of the low end, and it's going to make it harsh. So a lot of high mids are going to cut through. It's just going to get brighter overall. This is really good for like down-tuned guitars and chugs. Really makes the attack cut, but it does have some issues when you get to open notes. They sound really lasery, a lot of noise and stuff. It's kind of a give and take. It's definitely like, it's an extreme pedal, but hey, it's the Meshuggah pedal. So, all right, we'll start with the amp tone. I'm going to show you just the straight up IR sound. So without EQ or anything like that. It is going through a master limiter just so I can bring it up to the level. But yeah, it's the Own Hammer Studio IR I found was the best for this mix. So here it is. This is the amp. Sounding good. And then this is the EQ I'd put on it. The EQ is a lot. 4-5 decibels in some places. I'm cutting a lot of low end, so it's going to make it tighter. So I'm going to A and B on and off. So off, on, I found it sat better in the mix like that. So now I'll take it over to the plugin so you can hear that. So EQ off. I guess I'll actually show you the settings of the plugin first. Second. There we go. So it's pretty much the same exact settings as I have on the amp. They're pretty one-to-one, and that is also going through the same exact IR, but it's going to have a different EQ. So I'll show you just the raw plugin. And then the EQ. Without. With. So as you can hear, the plugin is actually kind of tighter. It's got like a more, I think the subs really bloom a little bit more than in the amp, but in the amp, it's a bit more focused in the mid-range. I'll just show you the raw sound versus the raw sound so you can actually hear it without that EQ. I think the amp sounds fuller and the plugin kind of sounds more scooped in a bit more of an aggressive way. So amp, plugin. You can hear the chugs really bloom in that plugin. And a little bit of like lower mid-range mud, I guess, in the amp one. So I'm going to put both of the EQs on and we can hear those together. So we'll start with the amp. The plugin. Yeah, so, I mean, they both sound awesome to me, but they definitely have their differences. And it's worth noting, the amp that I have is like a V1.5 or something, so it's not the same version of the amp. So now we can A and B them in a mix. I'm just going to add all this master wizardry so you can hear it. So we'll start with the amp. Plugin. Not a huge difference, but you can definitely sense the plugin's a little bit more scooped. It's got that bloom coming in, so you can kind of feel some of the thumps more, whereas the amp is a little bit more like drivey, and the lower mid-range makes it sound full. I think you can really hear the differences when you play some of the open notes. Oh yeah. So now we'll play the plugin on some open notes. And then the amp. You can really hear the fullness of the amp. Like it has a bit more of that low mid sort. It's not like a honkiness, but it's kind of like just a fullness that, in my opinion, really makes it kind of stand out better with low notes when they're open. Whereas with the plugin, it's just a little bit more scooped. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That was the Granophyre amp versus the plugin with Meshuggah Obzen cover. Hope I did it justice. Let me know your thoughts. Personally, if I had to pick a favorite, I would say the plugin sounded the best solo, and I think the amp sounded the best in the mix. But you let me know. Thanks for watching.